Okay, we are going to discuss physical appearance differences. Now, like I said, this is a 2000, so this is the first generation. It has your standard 2-bar grill. Somebody's installed these headlights. These are like 03 and up, actually 03 headlights, because the standard ones that would have come on here would have had this pattern but been opaque. You wouldn't have been able to see through them. Now, what's pretty obvious here, if you look, is this blocker bar. Now, Ford stuck these on after doing crash tests with a Ford Taurus when they were trying to get these certified, and what they were finding is that when this would go head on with a sedan, the sedan had a tendency to go under the Excursion, which would cause a lot of damage to the vehicle and harm the occupants. So they started putting these blocker bars on there, which is supposed to stop a car from going under it. Now, whether it worked or not, I'm not sure, but that was their intention. You have standard chrome grille, you have the honeycomb here. Now, this is a limited. Now, ironically enough, I ended up with 3 limiteds. All of these are, so you can kind of see the design differences between them. This being a 2000, this one comes with these standard mirrors. Now, as you can see, there's nothing fancy about them. They don't pull out. So a lot of guys will do is they'll put the later year tow mirrors on here that come out so you can get a better view of the trailer behind you. This being a limited this one's blue. It has the tan cladding and it has the tan illuminated running boards, which was actually pretty nice for 2000. Now, this one is in really rough condition. I more or less bought it to take the lift off of. I'm not sure because it is pretty rough, but it was not taken care of. It was significantly neglected, so as you'll be able to tell by the inside. But yeah, seats are rough. Everything in here is rough. Steering wheel's torn, but it is what it is. Now, like I said, this is a 2000, but it still has the tan plastic with the wood inserts because it's a limited, and it also has heated seats, which is nice. Now, if you look and climb up into it, you can see that it has an analog odometer. Now, in the Super Duties still had the analog odometer. The F-150s has started going to digital. So you have the standard tach over here, the 0 to 6,000 RPM, and you have your standard gauge array here. This Excursion came with the rear window defroster, but on the later years, you had a button here because you would have the backup alarm. So you could, if you were backing up and you knew there was a trailer behind you that you were pulling or something, it wouldn't be annoying and bug you. All the Excursions came with a electronic 4-wheel drive selector, so you don't have the shifter on the floor, and it came with the monochromatic mirror, and you have has a compass and what everyone calls a lyometer that's supposed to tell you your miles per gallon, but a lot of the time it is not accurate. Now, this, you can control the rear climate from here or let the rear passengers control it. You have rear vents. What is kind of unique to these is that the 2 rear windows on either side will open and let you vent. As you can see, this interior is really haggard. Cracked door panel, cracked here. The guys who had it before me did not take care of it. It is nasty and disgusting in here, but it's a good Excursion. It needs some love. I'm gonna give it love. I'm gonna make this thing nice. I'm gonna pull all the crappy tint off, but that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about the differences. Now, this has the standard center console and it's got some nasty stuff in there too, but standard armrest on the seat. You have your standard center console with the wood grain. Now, some of them would be gray, some are black. I've seen people change them out, but now this has the second row. So you have the 2 captain's chairs in the front, then you have a second row bench. Now, some of the Excursions came with captain's chairs, which was kind of nice. So you could have the people getting in and out through the center versus having to fold the seats. Now, the 3rd row is folded back there, but even with the 3rd row up, you have a significant amount of room. Now, what's nice about these big SUVs is they have rear climate control. So there's supposed to be vents right here that you can turn and that are directional, so you can point them on your passengers and whatnot, but you need it because it's a giant cabin. So this is your standard 2000 limited interior. Now, I know 01 was pretty much the same. Now, what you'll notice here is this has manual climate control, like you'll see in the Super Duties and the F Series. This is manual climate control. Granted, this is a limited, but this is a 2000 limited. And here you have your cruise control buttons. Now, in the later years, you get buttons that will let you turn up and down your radio, set your cruise, and control your temperature and your fan speed. So let's go take a look at some of the stuff in the back. Now the hatch slides up like this. You just open it and it swings up, and then you have your barn doors. Now, like I said, it's all nasty back here. I haven't had a chance to clean it out, but it's disgusting. So you have your two barn doors that open either side. Now, some people have had issues getting something large in here. As you can see, the vehicle's a lot wider than the doors open. So what you can do, you just push this little tab right here, lift up on this guy, and it lets you open it all the way. Just be careful you don't go too far because you can damage the door, but it gives you a lot more range for opening it and loading cargo. A couple different companies make liners for back here, so you can put a cargo liner in here and put all your nasty stuff if you want to. But yeah, the jack lives here. The spare tire would live here, but it's not present. If you're running bigger tires, though, unfortunately it won't fit there, so a lot of guys use the bumper carrier. And this is pretty much on the Excursion. It's all standard. The now some of the later models had painted front bumpers and rear bumpers instead of chrome, like this 05 Limited has a painted rear bumper. You can get underneath. They have a built-on trailer hitch, which was nice, and the 7-pin connector, which is destroyed. And you can see they all had the same size rear end. You're not going to hurt it, you're not going to harm it, you know, pulling a heavy load. And then in the front, these all came with a Dana 50 front axle. So this is the 2000 Limited. Alrighty, here's the 2002 Excursion Limited. Now you can see this front end's a little different. You have the rectangular box front grille versus the dual bar. The headlights are the same, and this front end, just in my opinion, looks a lot more attractive. Now you can switch the front end parts from a Super Duty or move them all around to however you want to configure them, because you can do the grill upgrade and the bumper upgrade and everything, and you can even put later model stuff on it, which makes it look even cooler. So this is the kind of funny that I ended up getting two of the same color. This still has the tan cladding, the illuminated running boards. Now this is an 02, so you get the tow mirrors that come out to let you see a trailer behind you a little bit easier. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that in. Now the interior is kind of the same. This one's a little cleaner, but still a tad messy. Here you have you could have different settings for the seat. So like driver 1 would be me. So I would put it in the position I want and then press the set button. And then if my wife gets in and moves it, when I get back in, you can press number 1 and it'll go back to where it was. Same setup here on the door as the 2000. But here you can see that the cluster changed. Up. Yeah, there's a short in the ignition switch, so it dings. But you see you have a digital odometer now, and the range has changed because this is a diesel. The red line starts a lot sooner on this one, but the gauge layout changed. Here is your disable for your backup sensors. Now you can turn that off if you know a trailer's there, and it'll quit beeping at you so you don't go insane. Digital temperature control, which is nice. You have your face, feet, mixed, and there's your feet. External temperature, so down here it'll tell you the temperature instead of being up here. And these are the buttons I was talking about. You have your temperature up, fan up, volume up and down, and this is an aftermarket head unit, but the guy who I got it from was nice enough to actually hook it up so it works. You have your power point here, so you can plug your other electronics and chargers in. You have moving pedals, so for a shorter person, the pedals come towards you. Standard center console. Nice leather. You still have your economy, and still have the vents, and here's your light. And let me go ahead and close the door because that's freaking annoying. Sorry. It's another thing I haven't fixed in the fleet of these things. Different key. Anyway, same setup in the back. It would have a third row. You have your second row cap, you have your second row bench, third row bench, same thing. The back of this one is actually all torn apart because the previous owner was pretty messy, and Yeah, so I ended up pulling out the carpet to clean it, but I was having issues with the rear climate control where it wouldn't get hot when I would select that. So I pulled this apart and I figured while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and clean everything and then replace the speakers and whatnot. So the back of this one's all taken apart. That was the 0273 Limited. Now is the 2005 6-liter Limited. Same thing, not a whole lot changes. Illuminated running boards. This one has paint matched fender flares. The front end on this is completely different. The front end on this one is just like a Super Duty, where this actually is a painted front grille to match the rest of the truck. It could have been chrome, but headlights are upgraded, so they're significantly better, nice and clear. Has the same tow hooks. This portion's painted instead of chrome. Different wheels. I like these wheels, they look real nice. Still has the illuminated running boards, but the inside, similar but a little different. Same window controls. This one actually has the black dash and tan interior, which is kind of interesting. Same buttons, same electronic 4-wheel drive, same dash. This has the standard CD6. This is actually the original head unit that came with this in 05. This has the digital climate control with the buttons here. Pretty much same up here. Difference you'll see is this one has second row captain's chairs, which is super, super nice. I dig the captain's chairs. They were an option from the factory. Apparently it cost quite a bit more to get it, and your carpet would be different because the holes were different, and it's kind of a nice setup. It gives you a little more kind of a little more luxury feeling for the second row. But other than that, everything else is the same. This one has the DVD entertainment system, which is right here. You have your little screen come down, and you would have your climate control got moved over here instead of being the center, and then you have your DVD player with input. So if you had a like a PlayStation or an Xbox or something, you could plug in here and play your video games on this tiny little screen. Pretty much everything else is the same. Same armrest there, same compartment there, spare tires in the same place. So yeah, I mean, these are great trucks. You still have your paint match flares here. You have a paint match rear bumper, and you have the backup alarm that I was talking about. And just like all the Excursions, they came with a hitch. Now, some of the Super Duties didn't come with a hitch, but on the Excursion, they put the hitch in there so that if it got rear-ended, just like that blocker beam in the front, it would stop a car from coming under the back. It was actually a safety feature, but problem is you got to be real aware of the condition of the trailer hitch on the back, because they like to rot out because they get like rust and road grime thrown at them. So I know there's some other interior differences. I don't have an Eddie Bauer. If you did, the sides of the seat and the center will be different. And there were some other options, but as far as I know, the Limited shared most of them. But that's kind of my kind of overview of the interior differences. Now, I personally like having the temperature and the fan on the wheel on my 15 6.7. It doesn't. It has controls for the phone. I would love to get rid of the phone controls and be able to control the fan here instead of having to lean forward. But yeah, really can't go wrong on any interior. I mean, if you like the fabric tends to stay warm and not be as cold in the winter when you initially get into it as the leather. Fabric's nice too, but the fabric seats do not come with heated seats. I'm sure you can add them, but from the factory they did not. And my preference, I like gray leather, but the gray leather, from what my understanding is, it only came as an option in the XLT, so you didn't get so you wouldn't get this, you wouldn't get the digital climate. I'm sure some of your XLTs had the digital climate, but the Limited line is nice, man. It just, I happen to luck out and all of the ones I have are Limited. So, yeah, that's my, it's kind of my general synopsis for the trim differences and interior overview. They don't have the driver's side glove box. They have this little bag hook, looks like an upside down face. Still has the power point, and you have the same style glove boxes as a Super Duty. So a lot of Super Duty stuff will come over to these. You can swap out seats, center console, all that kind of stuff. Now some people will try to put a Super Duty bench in the back, but you have to get some adapter brackets and drill some new holes. Now, funny enough, these things came from the factory with all the holes. So if you have one with bench seats and you want captain's chairs, which, you know, a lot of people want the captain's chairs, you can actually swap it out. You just find a donor carpet, because the donor carpet will have all the holes in it, and you get the captain's chairs, and you literally just switch. The holes that are on the floor that are open, you just plug, and then the other holes, these bolts that hold the seat down are self-tapping, so as soon as you start running them in, they will actually tap their own hole, and it's pretty much straightforward. You just have to swap the carpet. So I know it's an upgrade a lot of people like, and it, you know, it makes it, in my opinion, look a lot classier to have the captain's chairs. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more information about these beasts.